Hey everybody, my name is Will and this is Idiot Proof Cooking. If you're new to the channel, I make simple and easy to follow recipes that I would consider are idiot proof because hey, if an idiot like me can make something, you certainly can too. And if you've seen the channel before, you know the drill. So today I'm making a crumb cake. Now if you're not familiar with what a crumb cake is, it's very similar to a coffee cake in that it is a base cake layer which is really dense and moist and sweet, and then you have a crumb layer on top which is really just streusel, and then I like to throw a glaze on top of mine. They are just so damn good and really easy to make. Now what I'm going to do today is make a blueberry lemon one, which just is so damn good, and blueberry and lemon pair really well together. So without any further ado, let's get into making this. Okay, so let's make this crumb cake, shall we? Now what we're going to do first is get ourselves a large mixing bowl, and into that mixing bowl we're going to add 2 cups of all-purpose flour. From there we're going to add in 1 cup of white granulated sugar, pour that into the bowl. Next in is 2 teaspoons of baking powder and 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. Next in is a teaspoon of kosher salt, pour that in, and then we're going to add some spice. So starting off with 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon and then 1 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. So pour those all in, and then what you're going to do from there is get your trusty whisk and whisk all of the dry ingredients together until they're nice and combined. From there we're going to add in 3/4 of a cup of unsalted butter just at room temperature, so pour that in with all of the dry ingredients, and then get a handled pastry blender and just cut all the butter in with all the flour and sugar until you get little specks of butter throughout. As you can see here, it's forming little crumbs of butter and flour, and that's what you're looking for. So set that aside for a moment and bring out another mixing bowl, because now it's time to deal with the wet ingredients. Starting off with 1 cup of sour cream, full fat sour cream, so pour that into your mixing bowl. Once that's in, it's time to add in a 1/4 cup of whole milk. Into the bowl it goes, and then we're going to crack in 2 large eggs. So careful not to add any shells in, you don't want the crunch in this crumb cake. So mix all of that together, and then once it's thoroughly combined, it's time to add in some vanilla paste or vanilla extract. I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of vanilla paste, so pour that in, and then we're going to add in some lemon extract. I'm going to use about a teaspoon of it, so just a little dash, and then I'm going to use my whisk again to mix all of the wet ingredients together. And once it is all mixed together, go get your dry ingredients back, because now it's time to mix the wet and dry ingredients. So just pour the wet ingredients in with all of the dry stuff. Make sure to scrape the bowl with your spatula. You want to get it all out, and then just use said spatula or a wooden spoon to mix everything together until you get a nice, smooth and consistent batter. And then once it is all mixed in, we're going to add in the zest of a large lemon for some added lemony flavor. You know, you'll have the lemon extract, but then the added lemon zest will just give this a really nice lemon flavor. So zest a large lemon, make sure to scrape your microplane zester, get all of that lemon zest in there, and then we're going to add in the blueberries. So I'm using 3 cups of frozen blueberries. Now here's the deal, if you use frozen blueberries, it is going to stain your batter like a purpley blue color, and you can avoid that. If you don't want your batter to be a purpley blue color, use fresh blueberries, but honestly frozen blueberries are fine by me. I don't care about the batter being stained. Frozen blueberries are more readily available and they're cheaper, so that's why I use them. But anyways, once you've mixed the blueberries in with all of your cake batter, go get yourself a 9 by 13 inch baking pan, line it with some parchment paper, and then you're just going to take your cake batter and spoon it all into said baking pan. So make sure you don't spill it all, get it all out of the bowl, scrape it down. And yeah, look at that purpley blue color of the batter. Really, to me, the color doesn't matter because it's all about the taste to me. But if you, like I said, if you don't want the batter to be a purpley blue color, use fresh blueberries. But anyways, you're going to spread the cake batter out so that it's nice and smooth, and then we're going to make the streusel, the crumb topping. So mix together 3/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour, a 1/2 cup of white granulated sugar, and 2 tablespoons of ground cinnamon, and then just mix that all together till it's combined. And then from there, we're going to add in a 1/4 cup of melted unsalted butter, so pour that in with everything else, and then mix it all together either with a fork or by hand until you get little clumps of streusel. It's really easy to make. But yeah, once you've mixed that together, go get your cake and then just generously cover the top of it with your streusel. So you want to just cover it head to toe. No need to be sparing with the streusel. And at this point in time, your power goes out, and so you have to go and stick this in the fridge until you can bake it. So finish covering it in streusel and then throw it in the fridge until your power comes back on, which for me was about 4 hours later. And then there we go, power's back on, so let's bake this. Now in the meantime, I had thrown some turbinado sugar on top too. That's entirely optional, but I think that'll go nicely. So preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit and bake this for 30 to 40 minutes until it comes out nice and risen like this. Now, it doesn't look too much different, but if you stick a skewer or a toothpick in the center of it, it should come out clean. That's your telltale sign that the cake is baked. So now we're just going to let this cool down for the next couple of hours before we start glazing it, because otherwise the glaze won't set properly. So it's been about 2 hours, so I'm just going to very carefully take the cake out of the baking pan, lifting it up with the parchment paper, and then it's time to pull the parchment paper out from underneath of the cake. There we go. Look at that. A little bit of streusel got along the sides, but that's okay. So let's glaze it. Into a mixing bowl, add 2 cups of powdered sugar. Look at that. Rose wants to get into it. And I step away from the camera for a moment and she gets her little fingers in there, that little sneak. So anyways, into the 2 cups of powdered sugar, add a couple of tablespoons of whole milk and just whisk it together until you get a desired consistency for your glaze. And then from there, after done whisking, I'm going to add in a teaspoon of lemon extract so that it's a nice lemony flavored glaze. Whisk that all together, and then it's time to just spoon this all onto the cake very generously. You don't want to be sparing when you're glazing it, right? You just want it covered head to toe. Like, that's how I want to do it anyway. So just spoon all of your glaze on top. Look at that, it looks so good. It smells amazing too. And then we're just going to let the glaze set for a little bit, you know, like half an hour, and Rose is getting into it again. But yeah, let the glaze set for like half an hour, 45 minutes. And then once that's done, come on Rose, get out of the way. And then once that's done, it's time to cut into it and start eating this. So I'm just going to cut them into some squares here. I'm going to get 15 similarly sized pieces out, so you get a fair amount of crumb cake out of this. And let's pull out the corner piece here so you can see an interior shot. And look at the blueberries in there. Look at how moist the cake looks. It looks really good. And you know what? The dough didn't turn out too purple in the end. It just looked purple before baking it. It turned out pretty okay. But yeah, let's go in for the taste test. And wow, was this good. It was so sweet and moist and dense and cakey and just so good. The blueberry was rich in blueberry and it had the nice lemon flavor too. Here, let me give you a nice shot of another piece here. Look at that. Look at that. Look at those blueberries. Oh man. These, I am really happy with how these turned out, and they're not hard to make. Look at that nice streusel topping with the glaze on top. Man, these are good. Oh, they are so good. They were really easy to make too, so you should try these at home. I think you'll like it. Here, I'm just going to have another quick bite. Yeah, these are fantastic. And you know what? We better get the official taste tester in here. We better get Rose in. She's been begging for them since I made them. And here, just with a quick bite, Rose, and she's off with it again. Yeah, you coming back? No, she's gone. All right, I better just grab another piece then. I'll give you another quick shot of it here, but really that's the end of the episode. I hope you liked what you saw here today, and if you did, why don't you subscribe to the channel? And speaking of subscribers, we're so close to 10,000, guys. We're at like 9,900 or there and about, so we're getting closer. Really, if you have subscribed to the channel, thank you so much, and I look forward to making more for you in the future. But anyways, we'll catch you again soon on 80 Proof Cooking.